All right, let's dive right in. We're about to talk about a huge shift happening in the world of technology. And it's not just about what we're building anymore, but how we're building it. And right at the center of it all is a force that's completely redefining creativity as we know it: artificial intelligence.
Look, we are in the middle of a massive technological revolution. But this one just feels different. It's not just about, faster chips or smarter algorithms. It's about AI changing the actual soul of the creative process. It's giving code, well, a personality, a vibe.
And that brings us to our first big idea. For decades, programming has been all about pure, cold logic, function over form, every single time. But that is starting to change, and in a really interesting way.
So what exactly is this new term that's starting to float around? What on earth does it mean to code with a vibe?
At its core, vibe coding is basically where logic meets art. It's about building software that doesn't just work, it has to feel right. You know that difference, right? Between a clunky tool that gets the job done and an experience that's so smooth you actually enjoy using it. That is the essence of vibe coding.
Okay, let's break this down a little more. On one side, you have traditional coding. That's laser focus on performance, on structure, on pure efficiency. On the other side, you've got vibe coding, which takes a much bigger picture approach. The focus shifts completely to the user's experience, and the skills you need suddenly expand beyond just deep tech know-how. Now we're talking about collaboration, empathy, and just having a real feel for design.
Now, this isn't about abandoning technical skill. Not at all. It's about adding a human layer, giving the logic of code a creative soul. And what's really crucial to get here is that this shift doesn't just change the final product, it fundamentally changes the role of the creator.
So, how does this new approach affect the people who are actually doing the work? I mean, whenever AI enters a new field, the first question is always the same one, isn't it? Are the machines coming for our jobs?
Well, right now, we're seeing two very different patterns emerge. On one hand, you have experienced developers using AI as this incredibly powerful assistant to just work way faster. But on the other hand, and this might be even more profound, AI is acting as a great democratizer. It's letting people with fantastic ideas, but maybe not the deep technical background, build software from the ground up.
So, this brings us right back to that big looming question. With AI handling more and more of the actual work, is the role of the human developer just gonna disappear?
The consensus is a pretty clear no. The role isn't being replaced, it's being elevated. Developers are getting to move away from the really tedious work of writing every single line of code. Instead, they're becoming the creative directors, the problem solvers. They're the ones orchestrating these powerful AI systems.
Now, this entire software revolution, this whole new way of creating, is only possible because there's another revolution happening at the exact same time in hardware. AI is breaking free from the cloud and moving directly onto the devices in our pockets and on our desks. And believe me, the race is on. You've got major players like OpenAI, Apple, and Intel all developing these specialized chips designed just for AI computations. And the goal is the same for everybody: make AI faster, more private, and more personal by running it right there on your device, not on some distant server.
This shift has some really profound implications for the internet itself. For decades, we've basically treated the internet like a giant warehouse, a place we go to fetch information. But as AI moves onto our devices, the internet's role completely changes. It becomes less of a warehouse and more of a dynamic, connective layer for updates, collaboration, and just syncing up our local AIs.
So we have this revolution happening in software, and another one in hardware. But what about the most important layer of all, the people? Are we ready for this change?
The data shows a pretty stark divide. Globally, only about 39% of adults have had any AI-related training at all. In a developed country like Australia, that number is even lower, down at just 24%. This points to a major gap between how fast the tech is changing and how ready we are for it.
But then you look at the next generation, and the picture is completely different. A staggering 94% of students in the UK are already using AI tools. For them, this isn't some future technology, it's just part of their daily life. They're adopting it with incredible speed.
And this is where it gets really interesting. This is the central tension. Despite that massive adoption rate, especially among young people, only 46% of the global population says they actually trust AI. So we're in this weird situation where we're rapidly adopting a technology that, as a whole, we don't fully understand or trust.
and that is one of the biggest challenges of our time.
So, the crucial point here is this. We are in the middle of a foundational shift, the kind that echoes the great technological revolutions of the past.
History teaches a really clear lesson here. From the Industrial Revolution to the dawn of the Internet, the pattern is always consistent. Those who adapt to the new tools thrive, while those who resist get left behind. We're seeing that exact same cycle repeat itself today, but at a speed and a scale that we've just never witnessed before.
And that leaves us with one final question, one for you to think about. As AI reshapes everything from the code we write to the devices in our hands, where do you stand? Are you adapting or are you waiting? In this new revolution, which one are you?